Hello, back to Sage here on the Sage channel, and as per usual, on Tuesday, that would be 4/14/2015 if you're American, or 14/4/2015 if you're European, or at least English, I believe. Anyway, a update came out for Medieval Engineers as per usual on a Tuesday, and this update didn't add these things here. These are your standard little corner pieces that you would see, but it added these here, so diagonal pieces. In fact, if you were to press your G menu button, right at the top here, we now have this block right here, the stone block slope diagonal. Bit of a mouthful. Now you might say, what's the point? There's a stone block slope over here. Well, the standard one goes in the ground such as this. Now you can rotate it on its side, but what they've done is added that new one, which is by default on its side, and you cannot rotate it any other way. It'll stay on its side no matter what buttons you press. Now, I think the idea behind this is that it breaks apart in a slightly different way, and the top side here has a different texture on it. Now, I still think that in the long run, the dev should just have a singular block that flips the model that is actually placed, depending on its orientation up and down, but definitely for now, this is a good solution. And to go with that slanted block, they've added these new ones here. So, again, in your G menu, you will find that right here at the far right, you have this new one, the stone platform diagonal. On the line below it, all the way at the far right, you have these two new battlements. Now, these are the same as your standard battlements here. One for actually along the wall's edge, and one for if you have this little slanted piece sticking out, just like the other one in the past. So you have those, and that's what I'm demonstrating here. Just the standard one to go along the edge, and then the one to go on the battlement sticking out, or on the platform sticking out. Pretty cool stuff. And here's another way where you're just putting them right next to each other. You can go ahead and build out walls, so you can have super thin diagonal walls with these. And then, of course, this is just me demonstrating building. You can go ahead and place the blocks on them. And, of course, holding Alt, we can have this super narrow walkway here. And actually, that one that we have right there, I think is, and of course, they're multi-block structures, so you might end up with some issues if deleting it. But you can see there, I can go ahead and have a very, very tight walkway to go down. Now, to demonstrate that, I have all of these random constructs around here. I have this huge set of walls that zigzags around the whole way, using standard cubic blocks like these sometimes, and then using lots and lots of the slanted blocks. And so you can see you can have a huge amount of variety in your castle walls now. Fantastic, really, to see how you can build stuff up, including if you have tons and tons of slanted walls, you can still have the little, I want to call them buttresses, but the platforms sticking out, and have your walls pretty much lining up with your standard squared walls on the edges. It's all pretty great. Now, that's not all they did in this update, and by the way, I would like to move on. Before I move on, I should say, I would like to point out a little bit of an issue I found. This one doesn't seem to have had it. But these are all built with slanted blocks, and even though it looks like a cube, you can tell because this walkway is so thin. By the way, you can still walk through that. I have run through my character through there. But a lot of times I end up with an issue like this, where you can't actually close in these little gaps right here. If I go ahead and try to place a block in there, it stays red, even though I'm holding Alt. And I can demonstrate that by, yeah, I had the same issue here, so I will just show you really quickly the way I did put these walls on, just in case you're curious. Using these slanted pieces, I can go through and place the walls all along here. Pretty simple and straightforward. You don't really need this demonstration, but it will also demonstrate the issue that I've run into. And now we can go ahead and start our way back. And now, because this is actually a standard cube, we're going to go ahead and place one of the normal standard cube pieces right there, and then we're actually going back to placing on slanted ones. So here we go. We're going to flip that around, that way it's actually on top of it, because you can place one sticking out the side like that, a bit strange. There we go, keep on placing, and right here you can see we've hit a point where even though I can get it to show up in there, I can't actually get it to place. I'm assuming it's something because there's a multi-block already in there in some way. It's probably this little tiny triangular bit, yeah, right there. If I right click, you can see I've removed it, but even then I still can't place it. It's a bit odd. Don't know exactly what that's all about. I can place it here and carry on normally like so over here, but the thing is, it looks like if I had started from over here first and then tried to place a piece in there, it wouldn't have worked. It's finicky. It's finicky to say the least. Yeah, there. So see, now I can't place it back in there. Anyway, I just wanted to show that it's a little bit of an issue, so watch out if you're building your walls where you might have a tight courtyard where you're just using these pieces. Sometimes they're, well, like I've said about 5 or 6 times now, finicky. Anyway, there are 2 more things to show in this. Let's go ahead and set our time of day right there and turn off day-night cycle. And I'll actually go ahead and not do that. I'll hop to my character here. And they've actually added ragdolls to deers. So first off, we can go ahead and I think it was 4 deers max. Yep. And of course, deers are still running away from us. But they did say they added ragdolls. Please forgive me. Yep. Yep, they added ragdolls to deers. They, and then they freeze, which makes sense. If it was forever, so maybe it's not forever simulate. Oh my god, it's dancing. It's now dancing with the ball. It's some sort of exercise activity. Okay, yeah. Anyway, that's that. So yeah, deers now have their own ragdoll effects. Their AI actually seems slightly better for a second there, where they actually ran away from me and got to the far walls. But yeah, they ragdoll and then they freeze, apparently. Or they still ragdoll somewhat, but it's a bit odd. Anyway, that's not all they did today. They have added a new NPC. So we can now spawn this NPC here. Maybe it's because it's hovering. There we go. I guess it was because it was hovering. So this new NPC is called a miner. Now you go ahead and find that one in your character on your bots tab there, and it's got a little pickaxe behind it. And what the miner does is he basically goes up to stone and begins swinging away at it and destroys it. Now, he doesn't gather it up and run it back, so the basic idea here is that you'll have... There we go. So he's successfully mined down that piece there, and I can't look left or right. There we go. My mouse glitched out. But the basic idea is that he's going to keep on mining as much stone as he can find in the area. And this also shows that the devs have implemented some sort of... Well, that the terrain is actually not all stone like it used to be. Because remember in the past I demonstrated that if you dug anything, even dirt, it would give you stone blocks. Well, now clearly it looks like they've at least implemented some sort of material check to at least let them harvest different materials. If I was to actually give myself a pickaxe right here and go ahead and mine some wonderful dirt, there we go. Let's see. Will I actually get anything different? No. I still get a stone. But for all intents and purposes, it looks that the NPCs actually know the never mind, maybe they don't know the differences. I thought they knew the difference. Anyway, the idea that this would work is you'd have a miner who would continuously mine stone from your quarry, and then you would spawn in a standard peasant. And a standard peasant's AI is just like it was before, where they go ahead, they find themselves a rock, levitate it up using their magical powers, there we go, and carry it back to wherever you spawn them. Sir, you dropped your... Okay. Now, please note that you cannot have a whole army of miners. So, currently, peasants, you can still only spawn 3. So, you have 3 miners here. Very good. They will all attempt to find stuff to mine. But you cannot also spawn 3 peasants, because the max NPC count for peasant workers, miners, or just standard peasants is 3. So, unfortunately, you're going to have to... it's an odd number. There's no happy medium here. But we don't need them yet. And I'm sure in the future they'll up the numbers and a bunch of other more... well, actual gameplay mechanic stuff will be put in, but you can tell that you can tell what their idea here is anyway. Anyway, guys, that's it for this update. Pretty simple, but pretty cool. And I'm sure there'll be more and more stat. I feel terrible for that guy. He just hit him right in the face mid-swing. Oh dear, such chaos and destruction. Anyways, that's it. Thanks a bunch for watching. Hopefully it was informative and entertaining, at least somewhat. Yeah, thanks a bunch for watching, and I shall see you guys next time. Ta-ta, auf Wiedersehen, so on and so forth. Goodbye. There we go. That took a minute and a half. Oh, also, if you find yourself with a bug, there's this little button at the bottom right here called Report a Bug. If you click on that, it'll open up a browser window. You'll log into Steam because it's through Steam, and you'll actually be able to report said bug to the developers. Again, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.